Welcome back to Hannity. Breaking news now. According to a report, the DOJ Inspector General, the one we've been waiting for, has completed a draft of a report as it relates to the handling of the Clinton email investigation. Here with reaction to all of this, Ohio Congressman Jim Jordan, Florida Congressman Ron DeSantis, also with us, Fox News contributor Sarah Carter. Sarah, let's talk to you first. We know it's supposed to come in May. It was first supposed to come in April. But they found new information as it relates to this, and new evidence and the new trail they were following. Where are we with this?
Well, it looks like it's wrapped up, and we were expecting it to wrap up in May. They extended that because they did find new information, and it's going to be imperative, I guess, for the Inspector General Horowitz to get all of that information into this report, which I believe he did, and now he will be releasing. So this is going to be very important. I mean, this is part of what Congress has been asking for all along. Remember, it's the Inspector General that has all of the documentation, the 1.2 million pieces of documentation that Congress has been practically begging for and pushing and threatening with subpoenas, the DOJ and the FBI. So this report is going to be very important.
Let me go to Congressman Jim Jordan. This is a big breakthrough on top of the letter that both you, Ron DeSantis, and Mark Meadows, who's not with us tonight, have put out saying the president, you've got to get involved. You've got to tell the attorney general, and you have the power constitutionally to do so. There's over 1.2 million documents we're talking about here. And we know with the little bit we've gotten, as Andy McCarthy wrote, we've only have a few of the struck page memos just to begin with.
Right. Couple things. First, to the Inspector General's report. Remember, it was Michael Horowitz who uncovered the page-struck text messages where we've learned so much information. It was also Michael Horowitz and his team who determined that Andy McCabe had misled people, lied 4 different times, 3 times under oath. So we're all anxiously awaiting this report. I'm sure they'll have to, if it's a draft, there'll be some reviews that have to take place. But that's good news that we're going to be getting that soon. And more importantly, I think, is the letter we sent. We're just tired of the runaround we've been getting from the Department of Justice. It's time for them to turn over the information. And the one way that we know that can happen is for the head of the executive branch, the President of the United States, elected by the American people, to tell the Attorney General, the Deputy Attorney General, and the FBI Director, give Congress a separate and equal branch of government.
And they would have to do it.
To see. Yes, and that's what we're asking the President to do.
Ron DeSantis, let me go to you because this is a very key point. We're talking about one, again, we've only got a small sampling of the struck page memos, and it's so revealing. Insurance policies, how much they hate Trump, how Strzok, as we've been reporting tonight, is involved in everything. Literally interviews Hillary. She's exonerated. He's writing it months before the exoneration, before he interviews Hillary, 17 other witnesses. Then a few days later, then after they exonerate, rig an investigation into her. Now they're investigating Donald Trump. And that the timing, as the George Papadopoulos story, is blowing up in their face.
That's why, Sean, I think the combination of the IG report hitting hopefully very soon, and then if the president pulls the trigger on all this other information, we could have the gusher of information that provides all the clarity that we've been asking about all these different questions. And yeah, you talked about the beginning. How did this Russia probe even start? Very important questions. But even things going up into the special counsel. I mean, Rosenstein writes an appointing order appointing Mueller. The thing's defective on its face. So what does he do in August? He writes a secret addendum, a new appointing order, and then they've redacted most of it. They wouldn't even show the federal judge that.
Paul Manafort, after they already raided Manafort's home. I think the timing's backwards, and that shows corruption. Rosenstein also signing off on that ridiculous FISA application renewal, as did Sally Yates, as we saw in the New York Times piece today. All right, Sarah, here's a big question. I know the Inspector General did release some of the struck page memo, text messages, so revealing. I don't know Michael Horowitz. I know he was appointed by Obama. Why should we believe he's going to do their job? Because the evidence about Hillary and committing felonies and obstruction, it's overwhelming and incontrovertible. Any American would get convicted. The fact that they exonerated her before investigating, it's overwhelming and incontrovertible. What makes you think that we're going to get the truth from him?
Look, I think there's 2 things here that are very revealing. And one, let me just start with your question. Everyone that I've spoken with, every source that I know who knows Michael Horowitz says this man is honorable. He'll stick to his guns. He will be straightforward with the American people and reveal the truth.
Said that about Mueller.
No, but we saw that with the McCabe report. I mean, he went after McCabe. I think in this one, he's going to go after Comey. He's going to go after Loretta Lynch in that meeting, that tarmac meeting. He's going to look at the scope. Yes, Strzok and Page, and the scope of the Clinton. Absolutely. Absolutely, Sean. And I want you to think about the timing of the New York Times story, Crossfire Hurricane. They knew, the DOJ, as well as the FBI, that this report was going to come out. And look, it came out tonight. Right? So they needed to CYA, and they went straight to the New York Times and tried to tell their side of the story.
That's why,
a very limited
isn't it
side.
amazing? Did you get the same feeling? The New York Times, while trying to justify and make excuses, all they really did was confirm everything you've reported. And
that's right. They've confirmed
the show is reported.
That's right. They've confirmed everything that's been reported, that we've reported, and they also gave away some information. They talked about at least one mole, at least one source, right?
Right.
So that means there may have been multiple sources.
You're going to have a big story tomorrow on the FBI informant that was in the Trump campaign, right? Am I jumping the gun here?
I hope so, yes.
Okay.
No, you might not be jumping the gun.
Why should we have faith, and great work, by the way, why should we have faith, Congressman and Congressman DeSantis, same question, and Michael Horowitz?
Well, I mean, again, I think because he's the one who actually did tell us what Andy McCabe was up to. He's the one who did uncover the Page Strzok text messages. That's all good. Never forget, Sean, Comey has been fired. I think we're going to get information about that in this report.
Yeah,
Andrew McCabe, deputy director, fired. Jim Baker, chief counsel, demoted, reassigned. I want to know why that happened. We don't know the answer to that. We don't know why Peter Strzok is still there and what he's doing. So I think lots of those things that we're going to get answers to.
Last word, Congressman DeSantis.
Sean, we need to trust but verify. That's why if the president releases these documents, we can view Horowitz's report and then decide for ourselves with everything else.
Because they're the foundation of the Horowitz report, correct?
That's right.
Yep.